Так. Тан-тараран, тараран, тан-тан. Так, я не понял. Я не понял. Я не понял. Я не понял, я не понял, я не понял. Так. Так. Мне надо фильтр. Шум подавления. Вот так вот поставить. Спам. Где лучше в КС поиграть? Не знаю. Пусть пойду. У меня аудитория просто сбрала. Нормальная игрушка, на самом деле. Самое, чего говорить надо. Это не накрутка. Я пиар заказывал холдика. Что да-да-да, идиотик. Это тупой, конечно. У холдика идиот за косарь заказал. Раз ты не веришь, смотри, на стриме при тебе захожу. Вот, сам продуктивный. Стоит свой способ. Вот чуваки, которые ко мне залетали с того стрима. И еще для идиотов. Смотри. Где? Сюда. Вот. Холдик тот, кто согласен. Че, у тебя кто со стрима холдик, и тебя холдик пропернул. Для дебилов. Как ты, блин. Господи. Так, ладно, сейчас урок будет. Скоро, по сути. Почему она меня не запускает? Я же зашел за 2 минуты. Что за человек? Обидно. Угу. Бывает. Ну и даун, кстати, у него был конец стрима. Ну, как бы для идиотов. У него был конец стрима. Поэтому пришло так мало человек. Жалко. Что делаешь, Арсений? Пока нет урока, стримлю. И папы. А? Амелиуська, иди сюда, лицом посветишь. Пожалуйста. Почему no? Я скоро вернусь. Как пришел, так. Ты что? Что случилось? Что такое? Да. Да. Подрубают меня на урок. Такая страсть.
You guys are early. Let's see what time class starts.
Let's roll.
Still have 7 minutes. All right, I'm gonna put you guys back in
Мне
win.
спать надо завтра рано. Идем покупать
Do
новую
that.
тачку. Если интересно, то Майбах. Майбах?
First thing.
Майбах нормальная тема. Майбах это достойная машинка. О, опять. Обязательно. Ай, ой, в попе гной. Где? Если бы не остался. Да, что тебе? Куда иди на? РКС не играл. Я нормально здесь поиграть. Отстань. А это что не горит? Игнорирую, просто он тут скромный. Куда? О. Ну там ждешь, что ли?
How are you?
Плохо все.
Well, that was loud, probably.
Good, how are you?
I don't know why I was screaming.
Херово тебе сказали.
So you break a mask and like, I don't have to scream anymore when I don't have a mask on. So everybody turn on your cameras, if you could please. Grazie, grazie. Arsenio, you got to turn your camera on?
Не могу. My webcam is not available.
Okay. Did you guys all have the team that you wanted win? There's a couple of you already asked during a skills class, but it's a good story. And the question is Tom Brady the best athlete that has ever existed? It's the debate going on Twitter. I say you can't compare individual sports and team sports. I think if you categorize leadership, then yes. Mason says possibly. Could be, we'll see. I do love that he won with 2 different teams. Can you imagine being their coach? All right, so you kids that don't have your cameras on, I want to see you. I want to see your faces. Darren, I want to see your face. Kate, I want to see your face. Darren, did you get my message? I hope you did. Kate, I want to see your face. Caitlin, I want to see your face. Reese, I want to see your face. James. Ava. Still checking a couple kids in. Okay, so we've done number lines. We've identified the difference between distance and difference on number lines, and we'll go through that again. We've gone through plotting positive and negative integers on number lines, elevation. We've talked about with the solar panels. We've learned to add and subtract integers with that. Last Friday, we did multiplication on a Desmos with integers. We've also done some Kahoots with integers. So by now, everybody should be pretty proficient with integers. And so I wanted to just let you know that on Thursday for you guys, we're going to have a test. And so today we're going to have a modified lesson of just 2 problems, 12.3 and a problem in lesson 13. And then you'll be assigned the worksheets that I gave you as the optional. Those will be actual now graded. So if you've been doing it, great, you're ahead of the curve. If you haven't done any of the worksheets, then you'll have them for homework, okay? So today we'll finish the 2 lessons that are gonna be on the test. I'm only doing problems that will be kind of like very similar to what will be on the test. And then tomorrow we'll review and get you ready for the test, okay? It shouldn't be that difficult. It's only going to be 10 problems. You guys will be fine if you've been paying attention. The only thing that you need to, well, we'll go over it. Some practice with multiplication of fractions. That's something that you should already know. So if you haven't done that, you need to review that by tomorrow. Just practice that, okay? So, is Alexander here? Cameron's not here. He always comes in late. Okay, so since I got a couple of the videos, I'm going to do Mr. Morgan for the 2 problems that we're doing today because I don't want to dig around with technology when we have such limited time. I just thought it would be better. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Everybody open up your books to page 424. It's exercise 12.3 in your book, 424. Up and down with the Pickards. Okay. When are you having the quiz? You're having the test. It's a unit test on Thursday. Because you guys are period. Wait, what period are you?
We're doing our test on Zoom, right?
Yeah. Well, no, on Zoom and in class.
Oh, so people who are in cohort B would do it in person, and then
Yeah.
A.
And everybody will be doing it on. Yeah, you'll be doing it on Schoology. That may change though. I mean, we can't have physical tests if you're not here. So we'll see. That's to be determined. We're still working on it. So be prepared for everything. And no calculators. Okay? And I can see, I can tell stuff. Okay? Any other questions? All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Everybody should have your books open to 424, 12.3.
What page again?
424. Yes. Okay, do you guys see it? Up and down with the Pickards. You guys see that? Yes or no? Thumbs up if you see the up and down with the Pickards. Okay, good. Thank you, Daniel. Way to go.
But it just means that the leak isn't too bad. Next one, up and down with the Pickards. Challenger Deep is the deepest known point in the ocean, 35,814 feet below sea level. In 1916, Jacques Picard and Don Walsh rode down in the Trista and became the first people to visit the Challenger Deep. If sea level, it was represented by 0 feet. Okay, let's say here's 0. Explain how you can represent the depth of a submarine descending from sea level to the bottom of Challenger Deep. Okay, so here's Challenger Deep down here. So how would you represent a submarine going down that direction? Well, if this is 0, we know that up here are positive values in terms of elevation. So the way we would represent that would be with negative numbers. Okay, so as you descend, we would say we're going down negative numbers, or a negative amount there. Okay. The descent was a change in depth of -3 feet per second. We can use the relationship y equals -3x to model this, where y is the depth in feet and x is the time. Okay, so x is time, y is depth. Using this model, how much time would it take to reach the bottom? Okay, so we are looking for time in this case. That's our question. We know our y value is depth. Now our depth, we said, was -35,814. Now why do we make it negative? Because we're below the surface. We're way down there. And we said we're using negative numbers once we go below. We know that the rate is -3 feet per second. And what we don't know is the time. I'm trying to find that out, what the time is going to be. So to solve for x, I would divide both sides by a -3. And that number divided by -3 is going to be equal to 11,938. That's an equal x. And the x is the number of feet per second, is the number of seconds it would take to get down to the bottom.
Okay, so I was told that you guys already learned distance equals rate times time and all that stuff. So this should not be too difficult. Do you guys all understand this problem? Do you have any questions? So why he put in -35,814 feet for the y, because that was given to us. Okay, and he used negative because it was below sea level, which we had a whole lesson of positive and negative above sea level, that whole elevation problem we did. Okay, and it's already given equals -3x. Okay, so in order to find x, you need to divide by -3 on both sides, and that will get rid of the -3. Okay, and when you divide a negative by a negative, that becomes a positive. And we learned that on Friday with the multiplication of integers. Okay, 2 negatives is equal to a positive and a negative is equal to a negative. Do you remember that? Okay, so that's how he got that. Any questions?
Well, actually, the positive and a negative, it's not technically right, because say it's -3. Wait, are we doing multiplication? Oh, wait.
Multiplication.
Yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah. I know what you were doing. You were thinking about addition.
I thought we've never learned division of negative numbers yet, though.
It's the principles of division and multiplication are the same.
Oh, and then also, how are we supposed to do this without a calculator?
You don't know how to do this without a calculator?
Well, oh, never mind. You just cancel out the negatives.
Well, you just have the general rule of if you have 2 negatives, it's going to be a positive, right? And then you divide 35,814 by 3. And then you just match it. Okay? All right, let's continue because we don't have that much time.
Okay, and we can leave it like that. It didn't ask to put it in minutes or hours, so we'll leave it like that for now. Okay? Looking at the next question, it says it took the submarine 3 hours to ascend back to sea level. So to go back up, it took 3 hours to go back up. So that can also be modeled by y equals kx. So what's the value of k? So what is the rate in this situation here? Okay, we said before that y was our distance, so we know we're going to go up, so we'll make it positive, 35,814, we're going up, right? We don't know our rate of going up, we know it's going to take us 3 hours, okay? So I'm going to just write down 3 hours real quick. Okay, now, this is 3 hours, so to figure this out, we know that the rate before was modeled in seconds, right? We modeled that in seconds. So we could do it hours, but we can also look at, it was before, it was -3 meters per second was our idea. So if I took 3 seconds and I multiplied that by 60 minutes in a second, and multiply that by 60 minutes in an hour, that would tell me that I end up with 10,800 seconds are in 1 hour. Okay? We good with that so far? Right? So we have 10,800 seconds in an hour. So instead of going, yeah, just so I'm comparing the other one. Yeah. So we could replace that number if we chose to put it in terms of seconds, like the other one question we just solved. We have 10,800. So to make that rate look like the other one, we divide 10,800. Okay. Look at my notes. I didn't finish that one. That's
That
weird.
one you could probably do.
Sorry. So we do 35,814, and we divide that by 10,800.
Yes.
And we end up with 3.31 meters per second is the rate that we're going back up.
So I'll talk
Okay.
to her about problems like
So
that.
we know we went down
how?
-3 feet per second.
Is that when you have to use?
And now we're going back up 3.31 feet per second. All right, I guess that's it. Interesting. All right, let's look at the next one. Not sure.
Do you guys have questions on that? And how he
Yeah,
put that into seconds. So he turned it into seconds because it was 3 hours, and he turned that into seconds by multiplying it by 60, which is because there's 60 minutes in an hour, and then he multiplied it by 60 again to make it 60 seconds, 60 going down to seconds. Karina, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just really confused with like all of like the multiplication and division on like how you would do it with like negative numbers. I don't know. It's just really confusing.
Okay, so we'll have to, the general rule, because we did this on Friday.
I also have a question.
Hold on. Okay. If you always forget, you can always take a look at this. So if you multiply a negative and a negative, that would be a positive. If you multiply a positive and a negative, that will be a negative. Okay? If you multiply a positive and a positive, you're gonna have a positive. So you can, that's gonna be the general rule. Okay, if you're multiplying positive and positive, you're gonna have a positive, like 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4 because 2 negatives is equal to a positive. And so that's, but in the negative 2 times a positive 2 is equal to a negative 4. Okay, and it's the same principle as in division.
Okay, I think I kind of understand it, but
Okay.
are we gonna talk about it more to like in class?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's good. We'll do it in review.
I have a quick question about that problem too.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's really asking. I understand how he got the answer, but I don't really understand what that represents.
He was talking about elevation and descent. He's going down, trying to find the rate of going in descending and rate of ascending. Okay. All right. Let's keep going.
I quite did there, but that's right. The design of Tree Stay was based on the design of a hot air balloon built by Auguste Piccard, Jacques' father. In 1932, he rode his hot air balloon up to a record-breaking height. The ascent going up took 7 hours, and went 41,000 feet. By the relationship to represent his ascent from a starting location. So We know that the y is a distance, right? We went up 51,683 feet. We know that he did this and it took him 7 hours. Now 7 hours is, not sure why I kept changing it into seconds. Weird. No, well, that's okay. So 7 hours, if you want to turn that into seconds, we could do 7 times 60 seconds times 60 minutes, and it's hour to figure out what seconds would be. Sorry guys, my notes just weren't very clear. I wrote down everything in seconds. I'm not sure why I did that, but must be something from the book earlier. So to figure that out, we would divide by 25,200, and when we do the division there, we find that K is equal to, oh, we just write the relationship. It just says write the relationship, so we don't have to solve it. We can leave it.
Okay, for the test, because I'm looking at the test, where he's converting everything into seconds, you know, where he's going multiplied by 60 by 60. On the test, it goes by hours. So you don't have to convert everything. Like, you don't have to go 7 times 60 times 60. I'll show you a problem tomorrow. Okay? Because they're asking on the test in hours. Everybody understand that? Write that down.
Like that. Okay? So we can leave it like that, or we could write it as K equals this many feet, right? In this many seconds. Okay? Now the descent took 3 hours and went down 52,000 feet. All right, another relationship. Okay, so we're going down 52,940 feet, and we don't know the rate there, but we're going down 3 hours. So 3 hours is going to be 3 hours times 60 minutes, seconds. So 3 hours times 60 minutes times 60 seconds is going to get us negative 52,940 equals K times, again, 10,800. We could write it like that, or we could write it as K equals negative 52,940 over 10,800. Then you end up at a greater or lesser altitude than a starting point. Okay, so to solve this, we have to think about kind of if he started at 0. We notice here that he went up 51,000, right? So let's say when he starts here, he's going to go up 51,000 to some point there. And I'm just going to round, well, I'll write that 51,683. And then he goes down, it says 52,940, right? Which is a greater distance than how much he went up. Okay, so he went up and he went down. How is it possible? Did he go underground? How much higher or lower? Well, the difference there, first of all, you can find the difference between the two numbers, 52,940 and 51,683. We find the difference is 1,257 feet. Now, it went that much lower than it went up. Okay, so how is that possible? How could he have done that? Well, if you were to start your ascent, let's pretend, for example, that this is a side of a cliff, right? There's a mountain, like so. If he started his hot air balloon on the side of a cliff, he'd already be well above ground level, and he went up and went down, and that's kind of how that works. And actually, that is what happened. All right, so let's take a look at tonight's homework.
Okay, any questions on that? No?
Is the K represent the time that it takes?
That the K represents the No, not the. Is the time. It's the rate times time. K is the rate times time. Okay. How many K is how many feet per second? That's what that is. That's what K is. Okay. All right. The one on the test is a little bit easier than that. So don't stress. Okay, the other problem was 13.4. Let me tell you what page that is. Okay, that's on page 431. So open up your books to page 431. Oh, there it is. Okay, you guys see the shark?
Zoom out here. So the seagull has a vertical position A and a shark has a vertical position B. Draw and label a point on the vertical axis to show the vertical position of each new animal. We know this is 0 here, and so over here we're going to be at negative values down here and positive values up there. Okay. What's interesting is how they phrase these things. It says a dragonfly at D, where D equals negative B. Okay. So B, let's pretend that B had a value of, let's just call this -2. Okay. Let's pretend B is at -2. If B was at -2, and I'm going to say D is at negative B, that would be like putting in minus and -2, which would give you a +2, right? So what that means is that the dragonfly, whatever the distance here is going to be the same distance, but this direction in the positive way. And then we can put a little dot right here and call this D for a dragonfly.
Does everybody understand how you got that? Because you -2 and a -2 is a +2.
Jellyfish at J, where J equals 2B. Now again, I'm making up a number just to help us see here. So if I put 2 times B, B is -2. 2 times -2 is equal to -4. So in essence, I'm going to double the distance here, go down to J, and J is going to be down here for a jellyfish.
That's negative. It's below. You guys understand that,
An
right?
eagle, E, where E equals 1/4 of A. All right, so let's pretend that we had this at about 2. If I did this again, maybe this was about 4, and maybe our eagle up here is at like maybe 6. Let's pretend it's 6, positive, or our seagull is a +6. So our eagle would be 1/4 of 6. And so 1/4 of 6 can reduce down to 3/2, which is equal to about 1.5. So in terms of our scale here, our eagle is going to be about 1.5. So if that was 6, about, and this we said was a +2 before, 1.5 is going to be less than the dragonfly actually. So we're going to put our eagle right here. The clownfish is at A, a -A/2. Now we said our A was about 6. Just again, estimate. So we're going to say negative 6 over 2. And that becomes a negative 3. So our clownfish is going to be somewhere between the jellyfish, which was negative 4, about, and the shark. So we can put our clownfish right here for C. The vulture is going to be A plus B. Now we thought our A was about 6 and our B was about negative 2. So 6 plus negative 2 is going to be a positive 4. And so this was our 1.5 eagle, our dragonfly at 2. So we can put our vulture right here at about 4. And the goose, we're going to do 6 minus a minus 2. And 6 minus a minus 2 is equal to 8. And so our goose is going to go up 2 more.
Okay,
here.
so I know that that was really fast.
And there's our goose at about.
And due to the time restriction. Just remember that we're substituting, and when that whole activity was just substituting the numbers. Okay, all right. We'll go through it again tomorrow, or when I have you next, and we'll review and get you guys ready for the test. Okay, don't stress out about it. But in the meantime, take a look at Schoology for homework. Okay, and I hope you guys all have your packets because you're gonna need it. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
I have a quick question about the packet.
Yeah.
How many pages are we supposed to do?
It's going to be posted on which ones that are assigned. They're mostly the ones that we've already I've already assigned. So if you've been doing like the volunteer ones, then you'll be fine.
All right.
Then I added a couple that will help you to prepare for the test.
I don't see any of the pages. I see the math pages, like for the workbook homework, which I did.
She probably hasn't posted it yet.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she hasn't. Just
Okay.
remember, like you know, like the horse one. You know, it was those ones that I had already assigned. You just have to take a look.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Matthew, did you have a question? No, you can go. Arseni, do you have a question?
Рот. Рот. Надо. Бля, ну съебала эта бомба. Ты на стриме? Пошли. Привет, как дела? Привет, нормально. Отлично. Слушай, можешь, пожалуйста, настроить на рефку? Куда? Толя, где папа? М. Так, сори, надо стрим закончить.